Welcome back to Sports Talk. I'm your host today, Mike Bruck. Johnny B is off on assignment. With us now is head coach of the McKinney Boyd Bronco football team, Coach Don Drake. Coach, welcome back to Sports Talk.
Good to see you, Mike.
Well, it's good to see you too. Now you're sitting after the first 4 games of the season 2-2, so you got an even record. And after 2 games of district, you're sitting at 1-1. And the last game you played was against Flower Mound last week, and they didn't seem like much of a challenge. But you have to, as coaches, I know you always have something to work on. What were some of the things coming out of that game that you need to focus on this week?
Well, I think the most glaring thing is the penalty situation that we had from last Friday. You know, I think we had 150-something yards in penalties, which is never a good thing. So, you know, talked to the kids about that this morning in our team meeting about how we've got to cut that out, basically. You know, when you give up that much in yardage in terms of field position, it becomes very, very critical. And the other night, it wasn't so much because the game wasn't a close ball game, but you know, you head into this Friday night and you have that same kind of penalty situation, it can be detrimental to your success. So we definitely have to get that part corrected.
Now, what were some of the positives from that game? I mean, I think another great game from Dedrick Scrivens.
Yeah, I mean, we had a lot of great things happen Friday night. You know, I'd really challenged the kids coming into that ball game that we needed to start fast. You know, we needed to play well defensively, get some 3 and outs. We needed to be able to go strike quickly offensively, and I thought that we had great execution really in all phases of the game. I was really proud of our defense. I mean, I think there were 7 3 and outs maybe in the first half, and then we were able to execute offensively, put the ball in the end zone, and build that significant lead in the first half. So I was really proud of the kids coming off a pretty emotional week from the week before with Allen. We've had a tough schedule, as we've talked about many times, and so, you know, this was kind of one of those games that you needed to make sure that you weren't going to have a letdown. And so the way the kids came out and played with that energy and that passion, that enthusiasm Friday night was exciting to watch.
Now, Dedrick is a couple weeks away, but he set an all-time Boyd single-game record, 371 yards against Coppell. But he's not doing it on his own. Tell us a little bit about the offensive line.
Well, they're doing a great job. You know, we got some guys up there that are really, you know, coming off the football and executing well up front in our schemes. You know, an interesting thing is, you know, we've had some injury issues in our offensive line, and so for the last couple of weeks we've had some new faces that have been in there since we've been down a couple of starters, and those guys have you know, stood in there and done a great job, and our execution hasn't faltered, and so that's been pretty exciting. You know, you talk about the next man up all the time, and really it's played out that way the last couple of weeks with some new faces in the offensive line. I was really proud of those kids.
Well, now you brought us some highlights of the game against Flower Mound. Let's take a look at those. Tell us what we're seeing.
Yeah, and you mentioned Dedrick. I mean, he had a great night again. You know, he just keeps playing extremely well week after week, and that's so critical to our success. Everybody knows how we're going to try to attack and run the football, and we've been pretty productive doing that. Again, you're seeing some great play out of our defense. That first hit was Parker Norton from the corner spot. You see Kyle Seamus running the quarterback out of bounds right there with some pressure from the edge from Ross Matisick and Braden McFadden right there. So just a really, really good night all the way around defensively. This is Brandon Bowling, who had an outstanding night for us Friday night, did some great things on those quick throws out there and turned them into some points for us. Again, another great run by Dedrick. Here's Brandon, again, taking the screen on the outside and then accelerating down the sideline. He's such a talented athlete and, you know, really exploded on the scene for us Friday and did some great things for us through the air. Again, defense running the football well. You know, gang tackling is something that we emphasize, running to the football, playing with great effort, you know, and our guys did that. Again, Braden McFadden on the sack of the quarterback there. Grant's been playing really well, throwing some great balls. To set multiple receivers. We've had a lot of guys over the last several weeks that have caught quite a few footballs for us, and it's been nice to be able to spread the ball around. See some great blocking there by our offensive line as they're pulling on the sweep play and creating that touchdown run. Again, you know, it's much the same as you watch the clips. You're seeing Dedrick run the sweep. You're seeing Grant throw the ball out in some quick throws. The defense doing a great job of containing their offense and giving us the ball back quickly so that we could keep the pressure on them. You know, we were really able to up-tempo them and wear their defense down and continue to open that lead. You know, it was 37-0 at halftime the other night. Came out in the second half and again executed well on both sides of the ball to finish with that 46 to 6 score. You saw a nice throw there from Grant to Stephen Driscoll, and again the running game opens up. Offensive line doing an outstanding job. Some great effort downfield by Stephen, blocking there from the wide out position and then capping it off with another touchdown run. You know, Dedrick had 4 touchdown runs the other night in the first half and then caught a touchdown pass in the second half, so he had 5 TDs total for the night. You see Noah Prater there on the sack of the quarterback. Again, more pressure defensively. Ross Matisic on the sack there. You're seeing a lot of great effort on the field there. You know, Kyle Seamus on the sack.
He pushed the center back 7 yards.
He did. I mean, he does such a great job. You know, had him pinned deep. Got a great punt return here to set up another score for us right before the half. So it was exciting. I mean, it really was. It was a great night for us. Played well in special teams, defensively and offensively. Again, stretching the play to the sideline just like we coach, and Ron DeBoo there from the linebacker spot, running outside and making the tackle. That was the kick right before the half to make it 37 by Drew Smith, our kicker, who is also our punter as well and has done a great job in both of those. You know, we felt it was important to start fast. You know, our kids did that. We kind of were able to get Flower Mound on their heels early. There's a nice interception by Boone Tate. It'd be his first interception of the year. He was pretty excited about that. Again, another great job up front with those guys creating those running lanes for Dedrick. A little high step action there by him. That's a great run. It's a lot of second effort there. Some great blocking there by Brant Stockford, who's our backup tight end. Jacob Cantrell, our starter, played in the first half, and then Brant came in and played in the second half. There's the touchdown reception by Dedrick, who made a great move on the safety there. Seth Washington, one of our quarterbacks, throws a great ball down to Stephen Driscoll there in the second half. Again, more of the same defensively of guys swarming to the football, which is so important. It's a great run by Caden Markham. He's a sophomore tailback for us and taking the ball down the sideline. It was great to see him be real physical running the football. Cannell Woods, again, another of our quarterbacks who's a very talented runner and thrower. You see a great pass here for a first down on an out route to Eric Wallace. So again, it was nice. We got to play a lot of kids Friday, and it was great to see the performance of those guys who haven't been on the field per se, you know, with a lot of snaps, but they were able to come in and execute. You're going to see Bradley Hume here get a sack in the end zone for a safety. So a lot of great play out of a lot of kids, and we got to play a lot of people on Friday night, and it was really neat to watch all those guys get a chance to get out there and get involved in that success.
Now, as you prepare to play Plano West this week, I mean, you've had a couple of tough games, or one fairly easy game. How do you keep getting them focused on the game? I mean, you could have come out in that Flower Mound game. They could have been completely flat, you know, after losing the tough game to Allen. What is it you're doing to keep them focused on the immediate goal?
Well, I think it's a great group of kids. I mean, they've got their sights set on what they want to accomplish. You know, we've been to the playoffs 4 years in a row now. They're looking to make it 5. It's a great group of seniors that we've got. You know, there's about 21 of them, and they're all really, really committed to a lot of success for this football team. Have provided a lot of leadership. So, you know, we do our best as coaches to keep our kids focused in the moment on what really matters. And, you know, coming off of the loss to Allen, it's like, well, guys, that's over and done with. There's nothing you can do about it now. We got to get focused on Flower Mound because this is what's most important. And it's pretty much the same message coming this week. You know, we've got homecoming and we've got all those things, but you've got a great Plano West football team that's coming into our stadium on Friday night, and our kids have got to go out and prepare well this week, stay focused on Plano West because this is critical. You know, I met with them this morning and told them, you know, games 5, 6, 7, and 8 are the meat of the season. That's where your playoff teams are going to be determined, you know, and it's the toughest part of the season because you've got so much going on. You've been on the practice field now for over 2 months. You know, the newness of the year is worn off. You got schoolwork, you got all these things that are happening, and this is where the hard work really has to has to come into fruition. You've got to stay focused. You got to continue to work and prepare, because this is where it's going to be determined. You know, it's easy on the front end and on the back end, right? When you're getting ready for the playoffs or you're getting ready for the first start, it's easy to keep that excitement going and that energy level going. But it's when it becomes work that you've got to be able to stay focused. And so that's our goal. You know, that's what we keep preaching. Hopefully it'll come to fruition again on Friday night.
Well, you're talking about taking on Plano West this Friday night at Ron Post Stadium. Offensively, they're a pretty good team. Their quarterback is doing a good job. Hadn't thrown any picks yet. Got a bunch of touchdowns. But when you talk Plano West, you're talking their running game, right? Yeah, it's probably like they're talking right now about how to stop Dedrick. But how do you stop this guy? I mean, he's a top recruit in the nation. He's a superb running back.
Yeah, he does an excellent job. I mean, he's an athlete, no doubt, you know, and does some really special things with the ball in his hands. You know, we've faced him the last 2 years, both his sophomore and junior seasons, and our kids have done a good job being able to contain him. You know, and a lot of that is about getting guys to play with great effort and stay in their gaps and know their assignments and run to the football and tackle well. I mean, those are all keys to being able to contain a guy like him. And so we've got to go do that again on Friday night. I mean, he is a definite home run hitter. Wherever he is on the field, if you give him the crease, he can go the distance with the ball. And so we know that, so it's very important that we play disciplined football on Friday night defensively. And then on the offensive side, you've got to move the football and you've got to score points, you know. So it should be an exciting game for high school football fans.
Well, what do they bring to the field defensively? How is it you have to attack them?
Well, again, they're a very talented group. I mean, they have athletes all over the field, without a doubt. They're a 4-3 defense. They've had some success this year being able to contain some folks. You know, Saxe was able to move the football pretty effectively through the air against some of their secondary players. So, you know, for us, it's a mix of run and pass. It always is, and it's about execution. It's about taking care of the penalty situation, taking care of the football. I mean, all those things that you hear all the time that have to happen in order to be successful. And that's what we continue to preach to our kids and continue to work through, and hopefully we'll see a great performance out of them on Friday.
All right, so the McKinney Boyd Broncos taking on Plano West Wolves this Friday night, Ron Post Stadium. Kickoff 7:30, but it's also homecoming, as you mentioned, other distractions going on. So homecoming this Friday night against Plano West. And this is Coach Don Drake of the McKinney Boyd Broncos.